today, and we're going to be talking about specific use cases of the options market, right? So if VWAP is volume weighted average price, what is VPOC? Now VPOC is simply the volume point of control, or in short, the area where the largest concentration of volume is on a volume profile chart. So there is a distinction we make at VTrender when it comes to volume. 90-95% of traders, when they look at volume below the price bar. Okay. At VTrender, what we do is we focus on volume right next to the price bar, and we also focus on
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. A quick sound check. Am I audible? Great. So, welcome back to our 5 p.m. session. And today we will have a round of, we'll take a round of what all we have on the VTrender chart section and how we can make use of them. So, starting with the basic market profile chart, which is on screen right now. We definitely know we have the market profile which is shaped up TPO wise, and then we have the VWAP, the POC and value area marked on every chart. Apart from this, what are the other features which we have on these chart? We have an small info bar at the top where we can save these profiles. We can make composites, we can save them as a bookmark. I had shown this even in the previous week's session. So just for guys who are new to this and who are not aware of this, I would just want to again get back this fact that how we can save these profiles. So in case, for example, now we are forming a balance on the last 7 days in Nifty. So what we can do is we can just select all these profiles and form a composite, because the value has been up and overlapping in this range. So what we do is we merge, we select the profiles, we merge them, and then we have this composite profile. So here what we do is we can either right click, go to the info box which will open in the right panel, or we can go and click on this live panel, which in live market gives us that info box. Because now the markets are closed, this live panel will not work. So what we'll do is we'll just say display an info box. So this is how you can form composites, and how you have to save them is you just need to click on this save as. Sorry, this save. I selected this save button which is there in the middle will save a temporary bookmark of this. If you want to save it as a bookmark, you will have to click on save the profile as, because we are trying to merge the uh, live chart. We will not be able to save that bookmark, because the live chart will get added on to the charts only end of day. So here now I do this save as, I get these options, I select the category of Nifty July futures, and then I give the title as NF. This is a 6-day composite. So I'll keep it as 6 GB, and I'll put in the date of 10/07/24. So this ways we can save these composites, and it'll be very handy for us to uh, get a single click access. I go to bookmarks in this menu bar and I will get all the bookmarks which I have saved. And then I can just open this particular chart composite with one click. So this will not only help us to identify what are the references in the market, and we can also figure out what the auction is doing. So you can see how we remained in this value all day. We opened at the upper end of this 6J composite today. We completed the 80% rule on the downside. And when we made an attempt to move away from this composite, we have taken support right at this buying tail. And we have left a responsive tail in the FTPO. So once we did that and we got back into this value, it was very clear that we are on for the 80% rule to the upside. And so clearly, once we got back into this value, we just made a one-time probe higher and we went on to tag the value area high of this composite into the close. So this is how composite charts helped us to identify the references, the composite value. So what I'll do is I'll just unmerge these so that I can just repeat what I did. So when do you make a composite? You make composite when you have values overlapping or when market is in a range. So definitely here the first 2 days you did form higher value, but the next 2 days again completed this composite. We had this 4-day composite last week and we made an attempt to move higher from that composite. I'll just merge those 4 profiles so that because each day we need to take the information as per the latest data and then accordingly plan for the next session. So when we came into the markets on 9th of July, we were bullish about this point, this value area high. So on 9th of July, when we got this buying tail moving away from this value, we knew that this day is going to be a day where we will look for upside trades, and that is what happened. We made multiple range extensions and we formed a double distribution trend day up. So it looked as if the imbalance could continue. So after we did this, what happened the next day was we opened in this. What on the 9th of July, what interesting thing happened was the POC shifted to the top. So we could see all the volumes shifting higher. So the value area also you can see is shifted right at the top because of the volumes. High, very big volumes had come into at the upper end of that profile. So it was a very clear case of profit booking by the longs. And when the POC shifts to the upper part of a double distribution profile, there is a very good chance that the auction will test the lower distribution and the buying tail of that day in the following session. But what we did the next day was we got in some big selling which came in. So we not only swiped through this double distribution day, but we got into this value, the composite which we made, and we went on to complete the 80% rule. And if you see lower here, the 28th of June, 1st of July, and 2nd of July, these 3 days are also formed overlapping values. So we can in fact merge these three also, and we get a nice balance. So you can see how the entry into this value has been rejected yesterday. So this is how the composites help us, and market profile gives us a very nice visual representation of what the auction is trying to do. And then we add this market profile queue with the order flow to see if we are getting a confirmation on the order flow part also. So here when you're getting this rejection entry into this value, you know that the auction does not want to get into this. So today's auction, you can see how we have stalled right again at this low as well as this buying tail, small buying tail. So and from there we went on to probe higher again. So these composites work as long as the auction is trading in that zone, and we can again and again make use of them. So what I was coming to was because of this attempt to probe higher getting rejected and the auction again coming back into this balance. So what we have now is a larger time composite. So we can combine all of these and then merge them. So in fact, we had this profile marked even in spot for today's weekly settlement, and had even added the chart in the tweet which I had put up in the morning about the spot hypos. So here we can see how beautifully we have remained in this range. So market profile tells us that when we need to trade the range and when we need to go with the trend. So, and Shai had already mentioned for this month that this will be more of a mean reversion month. So we can see how we are forming balance on the higher time frame, and any move which goes away from that balance is again forcing the auction to come back to the mid of that profile. So this is how we form the uh, composites, and to get the information what we have, if you right click and click on the display info box, you get this column on the right hand side which has all the data you need on the days. So starting with the POC, which is the pink dot where you have the pink band as the POC on the chart. We have the VWAP as the green dot. The green band is the VWAP on the chart. And we have the value area high, value area low. We have the open, high, low, and close change of that day. And the average close, this is of spot. So we, this is a very good addition, and it helps us very much in case of average close is not spot, sorry, that is in the order flow chart. I'll come to that in a bit. This average close is because we spiked higher, uh, for which the this is taking the last 30-minute average, and this GWH is the gamma wall high and GWL is the gamma wall low. So in this one column, we get everything. We have the IBH, IBL, which are these golden lines on the top and the bottom. And then we have the OI, the volume which are traded for the day. We get the date type, and then we have various, the 5-day range and the 14-day range. And based on the 5-day and the 14-day volumes, the last 5-day volumes, we have the relative volumes marked out. So which helps us to see how the auction is shaping up for the day. If the volume is more than the average of last 5 days, if it is more than 100%, we know that the volumes are more, so we can expect a bigger range. And these volumes are marked for each TPO. So as and when we proceed in the day, we can see how the volumes are for that particular TPO, and accordingly take uh, trades which come in the favor. So this is as far as the market profile chart is concerned. We also have the order flow chart. Let's have a quick look at what all features, what all information we have in the order flow chart. We have this live data box which keeps running, which has the speedometer, which is a very important indicator for us. So this speedometer needs to show us an above 100 reading. Ideally, it should be in the range of 100 to 150 for us to take good setups. So if we are getting a signal in the order flow, we would want the volumes also to be on the higher side, that is above average. Between 50 to 100, we can expect a low volume grind in the market, which generally happens from 11 o'clock to 1:30. And that is the time we are kind of very careful about taking any trades. So this speedometer works very well. We want that to have a higher reading whenever we are taking any trades in the day. So here in the order flow chart, we have the timestamp, we have the spot latest price, traded price, and then this is the average close. So this is very handy, especially on settlement days, because you can see what the order flow, the futures, or even the option is doing, the strike price of the any option is doing with regard to the closing average close. So then we can accordingly set ourselves up for the targets or the supports in that option. So then we have the POC, which is this white bold line is the POC of the option of that particular instrument. We have the VWAP, which is the green line. These this and the value area high is mentioned here. We don't have them marked on the order flow chart, but we have the IBH and IBL marked. This is this yellow dotted line is the IBH, and the lower yellow dotted line is the IBL. And along with it, every TPO has the POC and VWAP. This is a 30-minute order flow chart. So we have the VWAP and TPO marked for every 30 minutes, which gives us important levels. So for example, today, when we made those lows in Nifty futures, we gave the POC shifted lower. And this POC, when it came down to 24265, this is exactly the POC of yesterday. So when we are taking support, we are getting, this is a responsive buying candle in the order flow chart. So when we are showing that responsive buying is coming in, we know that this level is being defended by the buyers. So this was a very good clue. And once after this bar we got above VWAP, we can see how we remained above VWAP throughout. And when we are above VWAP, that means the buyer is in control. So this responsive buying activity has been complemented with an initiative buying activity. Why it is initiative? Because it has taken us above VWAP, and we have further confirmation because this POC of 24312, which was the first 30-minute bar which closed above the VWAP, is being defended, and all the next 30-minute bars have been taking support at the VWAP. Although the 1315 bar you can see was dipping below VWAP, we can see some good greens coming in at the lows. So this VWAP and IBL had aligned here. So once that was showing RBs and we were remaining above the VWAP after this RB plus IB on 30 minutes, it was a very uh, good chance of us giving a spike higher into the close, which is what happened. And we went on to make new highs in Nifty futures into the close. So this is how we use market profile. Market profile, I showed you how we were in, we had got into that 6J composite value, and how the composite value area high of that 6J was our probable target. And the same thing in order flow showed us that every TPO after this FTPO, we got the RB POC in this. What I can do is I'll just get this into a two window mode. That we can do by clicking on this option in the top right where we have these section. We can also have a triple window, four window mode, but for that you need to have a bigger screen. So for a normal screen, a two window mode works very well. And I'm just switching the right panel to the order flow, 30-minute order flow, so that we can see how the market profile and order flow were in sync. So as I was telling you, this FTPO which made those new lows, we could see how it is taking support near this composite buying tail, and how it was. I'll unmerge this so that we can see the POC of previous day. So this pink line is the POC of previous day, which is a 24267, and right here we got that POC. We can also see that on the FTPO pink dot, which is the POC of that particular 30-minute time frame. So as we get the VWAP and POC on the order flow, we have the same printed on the market profile charts also, but we will have to split the chart and see that. So when we split the chart and see that, we get to see even that. So this RB plus IB, that means we have got back into that composite value, and then we are moving higher. So I'll just merge that composite again so that we can get those values of how we were looking the high of this 24418, and that was exactly the high we made in futures. So, and at every step what we are doing is, once we get back into this value area low becomes our reference on the downside. So no TPO came close to this, and as I mentioned, none of the TPOs even broke below VWAP. So if we are staying above VWAP, it is only telling us that the buyers are back in control, and they would definitely want to close this at a high, and which is what they did. So this is how we have the volume, and the 5-day average volumes is given in these order flow chart also. You can see the 5-day average volumes is 114%, and 14-day average is 100%. So, and this keeps changing as per live data. This is the end of the data which we are seeing now. So today the volume was around average or slightly higher than average compared to the last 5 days. So that gives us a good scope when we are looking for setups, and whenever we get a trade setup, we want that average to be on the higher side, at least between 110 to 150. So this is as far as the market profile and the order flow charts are concerned. I will come to the option table in a bit, and before that I would want to pause and take in any queries if you have. on what we have covered so far. Great. So in case there are no queries, then let's switch to the next very important feature we have on VTrender charts, which is the option table. We have had many sessions on this. In fact, last Thursday also Shai covered this in detail. So I'll not get into the detailed aspects, but what we can take out from here is we can, on one click, we can open any option chart we want. We can open a straddle chart, which we can do by selecting the middle. On the top, definitely on the top, you have all the uh, spot as well as futures index references. We have the POC and VWAP levels, which we take as important references in market profile. We have the open high, then we have the range compared to the ATR, the average to range of 5 days and 14 days. And then we have this option table where we have the strike price. One click on the strike price will open up the straddle market profile chart and the line chart. These things have been explained before. For a strangle, we will have to click on the call and the put, and then we get a link at the bottom of the page, which we, on clicking, will get the market profile chart of the straddle. And if we open up a dual window mode and go for the line chart, we can open the market profile as well as line chart both in a same window. So I'll quickly show an example. Let's have a look at the 24,300 market profile straddle chart. I have clicked on the market profile straddle chart of 24,300 today. And then if I go to the two window mode, at the right hand side, we have that option, and then go click on the line chart, which is there at the bottom right. We have line chart, we have the price table, we have order flow, and we have market profile. So I'm going for the line chart, and here we can see in the line chart how we can have the market profile on the left and the line chart on the right. And this line chart, will show us how the open interest is increasing and if the straddle is trending lower or not. So I will we have had a session on line charts and how we use line charts as important references, especially while trading options. So the VPOC and the POC and VWAP in on the line charts serve as important support and resistance. When it is moving higher or lower, the unvisited POCs or the earlier POCs or VWAP levels serve as important support points, or we can use them as targets. If we have gone short in an option, the lower POCs would be our probable targets. Vice versa, if we have gone long, it will be the upper POCs which will be the targets. So here you can see the straddle chart, how the POC was higher at 193. This was yesterday. And then today, right from the open, the POCs kept shifting lower. There was one jump at 12 o'clock above the VWAP here in this straddle. You can see this FTPO making this swipe. But then we never got into previous value. And once we broke back below that VWAP, uh, before the GP rate started, it was a smooth sailing down in this straddle, and we went on to close around, I think, 15, and the POC kept shifting lower. So what we see in option line charts is where the POC is, how is it being moving as the day is progressing. If the POC keeps moving in one direction, for example, this POC of the straddle chart kept moving lower. So we knew that this straddle is being written, and this more confirmation came here because this OI was increasing. And you can see after this dip just before the G period, how this swipe and the break below VWAP gotten fresh open interest here, and we went on to make a huge open interest of 23 lakhs, which is big. and this is the straddle chart. So this is the combination of the 22 24 300 call and put. So one more uh, one more reason why this was a very safe bet was, even on the spot chart, the 6-day composite was showing us the uh, POC at 24281. So it was very clear that uh, the option, this particular straddle, could close in a range of less than 20 points, which is what it did. The closing point was around 15, where the POC also shifted 11, I think. So that is how you can make use of these setups, along with what we data we get through the market profile charts. So this is what happened, and here the POC shifting lower in one direction, and we remained below VWAP almost all day. We did make one swipe at 12 o'clock, but that was just a swipe. So overall, we stay below VWAP. That is telling us that the sellers are in control. So this was a short gamma trade in the 24 300 call and put today all day, because we remained below VWAP and the POC kept shifting lower. So what happens in the option chart when one of these POCs, or when it starts moving on the higher side? For example, if we had some more time left in the day and the 24,300 call started to rise, we get IB, then we started moving above the 24,350 in spot. Then what would have happened is this call would have started uh, rising, and the open interest in that call option would have started falling, and then the higher targets in this straddle would have been these POCs 46, 82, then this POC which was at 142 and 190. So this what I'm showing you is on a straddle chart. The same thing we can follow on option charts also, and I'll give you couple of examples of today's, so that we can see how we got some good objectives both in the call as well as the put. So let us have a look at the 24 100 call option first. So you have the line charts, and you can see in the line chart, this is only today's. I've just taken the intraday line chart for the call, and you can see how the POC was at 233 at the open, and then it started to go down. Open interest also began to rise in this call, and there was a time where this POC call swiped. It made a very uh, it made new lows around the 12 o'clock time, and here you can see the POC shifted down to 110. So once the POC shifted lower, sellers will want to keep the option below that POC. If they're not able to manage that, the sellers who have come in late will be in trouble. So immediately you can see, as soon as the call got back above this POC, it went on to tag the POC from where it had fallen. And once it remained above VWAP, the objective in this call was the higher VPOC, higher POC on the line chart, which was this 233. And you can see how we went on to tag exactly the 230 level. And this is how we use option charts, the line charts, and we use this combination of VWAP and POC, not just on intraday, but also on a multi-day basis. So here, what I'll want to do is show you this example with the order flow chart of 24 100 call. So how we saw this option going lower in that FTPO around the 12:10 time. So here again we have the line charts on both sides, so we can quickly convert that one of the line charts to an order flow chart or a market profile chart. So I'm converting the 24 100 call option to a order flow chart, and I'll close this info box for now because we just want to look at the order flow. And this is a 3-minute order flow which we are looking at. And just like how we saw on the 30-minute time frame of Nifty futures, that how the market profile and the order flow were in sync and were giving us a good trade setup. Similar thing we can see in this particular option, how the POC shifting lower and the option getting back above the POC can give us some good moves. So I'll just increase this PPR to 2. So this is that play which happened when the this just swipe lower. I'll show the same thing in the put also, because the put writers were taken to the cleaners because of that swipe. And we will see in the put also how exactly we met a target of a previous POC on the line charts. So this is how we not only make sure we are booking profits, we also don't overstay the move. So once we get good objectives, we definitely want to book profits at that level and trail our position to cost, so that once a trade moves in our favor, we don't lose money on it. So here at 12.3, you can see how the POC shifted lower. It was at 167 at 12 o'clock, but that swipe got the POC to shift lower. The shifting of POC could be of many reasons. Maybe there are fresh buying, maybe the sellers had to book out, forcing highest volumes coming lower. So whatever the case is, what happened was the very next bar we got back above the POC. So once we closed above this POC, immediately in the next bar, we went on to go and tag that POC from where it had fallen. So this was a very fast, quick move, and it will not be not many would be able to trade this. But what it is showing us is the setup what we have on these line charts. So the second thing what we could have done is, because now it is very clear that we are above VWAP. So once we are above VWAP, our next target would be this higher POC of 234. So once we get this IB bar at VWAP, the green bar which the first green bar which closes at VWAP, we will have the POC of that as our reference. So this 130 in this call would be our reference and would serve as our stop loss for our objective of this 236. So we hold on to that setup, and you see how we went on to consolidate for a good time. We made a high of 195. We then again came back lower. And although the POC had shifted down here, our reference was still 130 because we have still not tagged our target. So that is where we see now here we are getting a good RB bar just above the POC. And then we made this high of 221, which was almost hitting this 237 target. And then still, eh, in case we don't book out and we want that objective, we can still see how the auction behaved. It remained there above VWAP. It is telling us that the auction is not completed the upside. And here you see at 3 o'clock how we went on to tag the 237, and right there we got this RS bar. So when it is showing an RS and not an IB at that POC, we can safely say that the upside is done for now. And that was the high we made in this call, after which we came back lower and we closed around 215, I think. So this was the 24-100 call, how we made use of the line chart and how we could connect. And the advantage of the line chart is it is not only telling us that the auction is headed higher, it is also showing us the open interest, which is gradually falling after this move. So it is telling us that the sellers who had come in even at the earlier references are now being forced to book out. And you can see how the open interest kept falling in this call into the close. So this is how we can make use of this line charts and combine it with the order flow chart and take good trades in live markets. So I will come to the 24-400 put also now. So here we have the last 4 days line chart of the put. So here you see on the 5th of July, the POC was at the highest level, which was at 248, right? So after that, the POC kept coming lower, and we saw some good open interest build up on 9th. So some good open interest was built up, and the POC was around the closing of that day was at 67, and the POC also has shifted around the same level.
Quick sound check. Am I audible? Great. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Great. So let's continue with where we left. I hope you could follow what we spoke about the 24/100 call option, how we compared the line charts and the order flow charts. That was the audio was fine then, right? If I can get a confirmation, I'll just focus on this 24/400 put which we were looking at. Great. So as I was talking about this POC on 10th of July, we went on to hit that objective of 248. And we can see in this line chart how we have spiked there. We have not been able to sustain above that POC. So this also is a sign. Yeah. So okay, that's what. So we had seen how the open interest was rising on all of 9th of July, which was a double distribution trend day up. So when we were trending higher, the put writers kept on climbing, biting into this particular option because we remained about 24,400 that day, and we went on to make a high of 24,510, I think, and the POC has shifted higher to 24,482. So which is why we saw the open interest was the highest at around 3.3 lakhs, and the POC into the close had shifted to 67, and the VWAP was at 85. So the next day on 10th, once we got about the VWAP of previous session, it was always being a game of survival for these late writers. It started with these late writers who entered after 1 o'clock on that 9th of July. And then it even took all the other writers who had added on that day. So we can see how we went on to hit the highest POC point on the line chart. And there we have left a spike. We have not sustained above it. Here, once we got above this 160 POC, we can see how we remained above this 160 POC. So those are also very good signs on a line chart. If it is remaining above a POC or a VWAP reference, that means you can look for the next upper reference which is there. And if it is getting rejected, you can expect that the move is done. So that is what, once we hit that objective, we went on to climb lower. And if we talk about today's auction, I will switch it just to today's auction and show you the order flow charts of what we have this background now of what happened in this 24,400 PE on the 10th of July, wherein we hit that POC of 248 with this swipe and we came down lower. And today, what we did again is we got this big swipe at the 10 o'clock. First, it happened at 10 o'clock where we got about this VWAP and POC. So it went on to hit that POC again of 160. And then we made a high just right at this 220 level. So if I show you the order flow chart of this put, and I'll show you the 30-minute order flow because it had left some important references for us to make note of and make use of for the next session. So if I switch to the 30-minute order flow chart of 24,400 put, I will first take you to what happened on 10th of. See, this is what we did. In the line chart, we saw the POC shifting down to 62 and the VWAP was at 76. So the next day on the 10th, when we got above this VWAP and POC, we remained above these two. And as I mentioned, we remained above this POC point. It was inviting these writers, it was inviting a squeezing out of these writers, which happened. And we went on to do that in style. We went on to hit that 248. But here you can see we have not been able to sustain above that. And then the next attempt we made in the afternoon on 10th, we left this RS POC at 219. So this is the second swipe which we made on 10th. So why it is relevant is because today in the morning when we again had a similar kind of a play, after the A period, in the B period we got back above the VWAP in this call, and you can see this big green bar at 10:14 just when the C side was starting. So here you can see these writers who had come in again today. We have this good OI increase in the morning in the first hour today from 9:15 to 10 o'clock, 10:10. So it had gone up to 2,50,000. All those writers were pushed out. And this swipe higher, this 219 is the reference which we had taken from the 10th of July's RSPOC. So we halted right there. So the here also that is the reason we stalled here and we came back lower in this put. So this is how we can make use of these charts. I will just have the intraday and see how the option is reacting at the POC and the VWAP. So after this objective was done, it made a slow return back to the POC and VWAP, and it went on to close around that POC itself. So this is how we can make best use of these line charts and take these VWAP and POC references as our support and targets. So this was what we had to cover for today's session. I hope you guys could grasp some good knowledge of this, and you can not just grasping, but you can make use of this information in the coming days, because these setups play out every day. We just need to be patient and need to wait for them to start playing out for us to take actionable trades out of them. And especially on expiry days, they give you all the much more better opportunities. So that is it for today, guys. If there are any questions, I would love to answer them before we wrap up for today. So in case there are any questions, please shoot them. And apologies for that inconvenience. I'm still not sure what happened. I had to just change my earphone. The other earphone, I guess, is conked. So in case there are any queries, please feel free to ask them. Else, we'll wrap up for the day and meet up next week. The order flow package, you can go to the website and check, Karthik. It will be available there. Thank you, guys. You can get in touch with us. You can mail us at support@vtender.com in case you have any questions or if you have any suggestions about these sessions. So you can Nagraj has a question saying that the strangle chart was not working. It works, Nagraj. The strangle chart takes little bit time to load the latest data. So let us go to the options table. 24,400 call. So how you select the strangle is selecting the checkbox 24 and 24,200 put. So we have this option pair and we click on this. Because in live market, definitely it will say you have the So you have the market profile chart. If you want to go to the line chart, you just need to click on that line chart and you just need to give it a little more time to load today's data. And in live market, definitely it shows up. And in case you have any such issues when you're checking the charts, you can just mail a screenshot to charts@vtender.com and the team will definitely get back to you. So because I just opened the 24,300 straddle chart and it was working fine. We could see the opening. So I guess because it's the market is closed, this is not loading, but definitely it does load. It takes a little extra time for the data to show up, but once it does, then it keeps updating live. So thank you guys for joining in. And let's keep growing together and learning these things and making use of them in for trading and keep getting better and better. Thanks guys, and signing off for today. Let's join up on Monday 5 p.m. for the next session.